bonus segment for
Yeah.
you to talk about the book marketing, the book tour, and kind of like how
Yeah.
that whole thing has been.
I'm kind of existing and manifesting what I've been talking about, which is you
Hmm.
have to show up, you have to do things. I don't like being on camera. I'm great at marketing everyone else. For me, I always feel kind of icky when I market
Yeah.
my own stuff, but
Tell me about it.
but it is kind of the nature of the beast, especially in publishing. So I have a book called Transforming Customer Brand Relationships, and it's on building those relationships with the customers, all of the moving pieces that actually it takes to put together in order to actually have that brand affinity and fandom that we've talked about.
Hmm.
Talks about how community is a silo killer and how you can utilize that to really kind of supercharge customer experience and get it to its optimal level. And then what happens when it falters? How is AI impacting customer experience? How is it impacting how we talk to our customers? What happens if there's a PR crisis? What happens if you have like all these moving things? And so I have that. I went to Advertising Week last week to do, and then I had my book launch at Shopify New York, where I got to do a panel with Goldie Chan, who also has a book coming out, as well as Victoria Rose Weiss, who's the senior director of CX at Little Spoon. So we were there, got to celebrate International CX Day, talk about the book, answer questions. I did a little reading of my book, and then I'm going to be going to Toronto for Toronto Community Week later this month, where I'm going to be doing 2 talks. I'm doing a 3-hour workshop as well as a 30-minute talk the next day. And then they're giving all the attendees copies of my book. And then later on, I'm going to be doing I'm going to be at Customer XCon in Boston in November. And I'm going to be doing a talk with one of the professors at Holt Business School. And so I'll be able to start promoting that soon. But I'm having to do more TikToks. I'm having to do more
Yeah.
LinkedIn. And I'm a copy girl. Like, I'm a writer at heart.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be on video.
Yeah.
Like I'm an indoor cat. Like, let me just sit at
Yeah.
my typewriter and do my thing and everyone will be better for it. But you got to do what you got to do. So I'm creating the content and I'm doing the videos. And I will say, like, every time I post about my book,
Hmm.
the Amazon numbers go up. Like, it
Yeah.
does work,
Oh,
sadly. Like,
marketing works, Christina.
I
Tell
know,
us
right? I
more.
know, right? But it's one of those things, like, I regret to inform you, you're gonna have to put
Yeah.
yourself out there. So if you're
Yeah.
listening to this and you're writing a book or you want to be an author, like, writing the book is not the hardest part. It's
Mm-mm.
believing in yourself during, pushing yourself through it, because you're gonna have like the worst imposter syndrome of your life,
Hmm.
thinking like, I have nothing to say, everything I want to share, no one's gonna read it, no one's gonna care. And then you have to market it. You got to market the thing. And
Yeah.
I do think I was watching a video on TikTok, but it's from a podcast, and it's the guy that did the it's the something murders, the murder club, Saturday morning club, Tuesday murder club.
The Netflix show?
The Netflix show. He's
Hmm.
the writer of those books.
Mm.
And he was talking about how a lot of traditional publishers, they're now, when they're taking manuscripts from writers, they're asking how many followers they have, to basically
Yeah.
say, like, we're not going to take a risk on this unless you have like a big enough
Hmm.
audience. And I'm seeing that everywhere. We're seeing that in
Hmm.
Hollywood with people
Right.
saying that they're being asked about
Yeah.
their
Ethan
Instagram
Hawke just
followers.
came out and said that.
Yeah. And so we're seeing that widespread, but I think that it speaks to the kind of content that we're going to get. And I think the content that we are getting, like, I went to Barnes and Noble over the weekend, and like, there's an entire subsection that's doing quite well, which is
Hmm.
like romantasy is probably the best way to
Romance. Yeah.
describe
With
it.
dragons.
With dragons, it's, yeah, smut with dragons.
Hmm.
But it, like, all the names sound the same. All the book covers look the
Hmm.
same, and they're doing numbers. And I've read some of them because I had a friend who was like, "You have to read this," and I got like 20 pages in. I was like, "You're gonna have to hold my hand. This is so poorly written."
Yeah.
I'm an English major canon girl.
Hmm.
Like, you can't outsmut Anne Rice, and you're not
Hmm.
gonna like be a better writer than her. So like, if that's what I need, I'm gonna go to Anne. Like, I'm just
Hmm.
gonna go straight to her. Um, so it's things like that. I think that it's another symptom of kind of like the society that we've built around attention,
Hmm.
where there's a lot of really poor material that's being created and pushed out, but it's not necessarily good, but it does the numbers it needs to do because the
Hmm.
audience that's been established for it. So, um, it's just something else that we're going to have to fight through, is just, and amplify the good writing, amplify the stuff that makes your heart sing. Like I said, I love Olivia Dean. Her new album is
Hmm.
amazing. Like, I'd rather talk about how great she is than talk about how bad the Taylor Swift album was. Like, let's push the good so that more people can find those artists.
Yeah, no, I agree. One thing I wanted to call out here is Christina's book is an actual like playbook that describes not only what things are, but how you can actually do them, which is like a huge thing that like I found it is like actually useful. I don't read very much nonfiction. I usually like listen to like the audiobooks, but Christina's book is one that I bought because I'm like, okay, I want to like actually highlight the stuff that I know I'm gonna want to like look back on and like use in my work. And I think that that's like a huge thing. Speaking to Christina's point about the type of content that's out there now, it's really hard to find people that like do the work
Yeah.
and then like write well enough about it that like will actually help you improve your own work. And I think that that's like one of the huge things that stood out to me because, I've read some of those like pop, marketing books that come out and like, they'll describe like a theory or a hypothesis or whatever. And then the rest of the book is just like going back to that same like idea and maybe providing some examples here and there, but not very much like their own examples. It's just like
Yeah.
examples that they've seen from like, other companies that are like doing it well. Well, Christina's actually talking from experience of like how she's done the work, and then putting it in a way for you to then go out there and do it. So that's like a huge thing that like if you actually want to improve your marketing and like be a better marketer, these are the things you should be, doing is like paying attention to the content that's being created that's actually good and that's going to help you do your work. Oh, buy the book and like let's, get her to the, top of the list. You did make it to one of the top of the Amazon list, right?
I did. I made it for the first week. I was number one in two different categories.
Well, that's amazing.
Yes.
And so, yeah. So do you want to talk a little bit more about like what it means to like have to actually market your book?
Yeah.
Like what you've been doing?
Yeah, so I've had the events. I have like book launches here and there. I'm doing a lot of like deconstruction LinkedIn and Instagram and
Hmm.
TikTok posts that basically are diving into some of these like more complex issues. I'm also doing a playbook series on my LinkedIn newsletter, Pocket CCO, where I'm breaking down like a lot of the individual pieces. So I talk about, I did like a reimagining of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but from like a
Mm,
customer perspective instead of like a human, like
sure.
living kind of perspective. So I talked about that. I talk about like voice of the customer, social listening, connection, and really like how basically holding your hand through the book of like, okay, well, here's some extra pieces of like, here's some questions to ask, here's some exercises to do, here's some things to think about when you are trying to figure out how do I execute this part of the book? How do I make sure that this is going to work for what we're needing to do? And so I'm doing all that. And then I have a couple more blogs that I'm writing and just a lot of content, a lot of like bite-sized pieces, a lot of podcasts, a lot of all of the things. Yeah.
Well, that seems to be the huge takeaway, I think, for,
Yeah.
this podcast.